Hello, am I on?
Unmute.
Take sound off here.
We're just noting that Deb is starting meeting late.
I am.
Yes, thank you.
Put it on post-it note.
I'm pretty sure she'll make up that minute.
We will make up that minute. Okay, I call to order our policy review committee meeting of August 18, 2025, and we will have the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please.
George Andrews. Late, Jason Gulstram,
Present.
Keith Carcutt,
Present.
He's here.
he's here.
I'm here.
His mic is muted for Keith.
I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I'm not muted.
Going once, going twice.
I am not muted.
We know he's there.
He's,
You verify his person is there? Okay,
Okay.
well, we'll take that as an affirmative.
okay, and Debbie Kulik.
Present.
Thank you.
Hey, I'll take a motion to adopt
I
the
am
agenda
not muted.
for August 18, 2025.
So moved.
Unmute me, please.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'm sure he's ayed. All right.
Well, as we learned, no answer is still an affirmative.
There we go. And we'll do the approval of the minutes from July 21, 2025. I'm in a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Good. All right. We have no policies for new business, but we have policies for old business. Policy 212, reporting student progress, and to turn to that, sorry. The addition for this is that the The addition to this is we take out at intervals, not less than 9 weeks, and we make grade reports issued 3 times per school year. Any issues with that?
Nope.
All right, the next one is policy 323, tobacco and vaping products. And we are adding to that the wording that says the board designates that an area on the grounds of the North Transportation Facility be established where tobacco product by use other than pupils is permitted in accordance with the law.
Do we want to talk about this to understand what
Yeah,
we're
what's
doing?
the reasoning?
So right now
Specific.
on our North Campus, in order for people to be able to smoke, they have to leave property. So what they were doing was they were putting an array of unmatching student chairs along the side of the road and smoking. That technically is still school property and not safe, by the way, and a bad look for our district. So I had said, please remove the chairs and the cigarette butt bucket, which how full was it? You said it had some weight to it.
Oh, yeah, it was new, but yeah.
Yeah, and in doing that, we have 2 choices. We can either tell our people, you must leave property, drive somewhere else to smoke, which would be down the road. My guess is the Bushville Park Post Office parking lot, or whatever parking lot they choose. What was happening in the past was they were driving a little bit down the road, parking on the side of Bushkill Falls Road and smoking. Well, I do not condone smoking or want people smoking. However, I also don't want somebody in a car accident because they're smoking on the side of the road. So we dug into school code and it allows for us to have a designated area that is so many feet away from students, so many feet away from entrances. So we were thinking on the north lot, on the back, left side, right side, of creating almost like a designated smoking area to keep people safe while smoking, if that's actually a thing.
Okay. I see it. Job security for EMS, but still.
Thank you.
All right,
Can you hear
Either
me
way,
now?
it's job security for EMS, I'm just saying.
one's just long-term.
Correct.
Now, we're identifying this in policy. Is this gonna be an issue with
So,
all of the other buildings within the
So
district?
the reality is all the other buildings can easily go to a public location within a 1-minute drive. So
But they
Smith,
still have to go to a private public loop, like what, like say, for example, is it Smithfield?
yeah, they can go right across the street
To where?
to, I don't know what it's called now, Menacing Hills, what was it called?
no,
But
there's
that's
a
not,
number of
that's not
things.
public though, or
That's
that's
private property.
Right.
private.
But, or they can, there's somewhere they could go.
Okay. Well, I just don't want for it to become an issue that they have to go into private property to have a cigarette break.
Right.
Whereas if you're talking about post office, then they'd have to go up to Shawnee, and they'd have to go all the way down there.
Well, Shawnee is still,
That's public,
It's still-
public-private.
yeah.
That's public,
There are
post
parking
office,
areas.
right?
There are
Right.
parking areas.
Mhm.
Because we're allowing them to smoke on school property because we don't want them to go off property down the road a little bit. But we're
Well,
okay with.
it's not
other-
down the road a little bit.
I know
think
how
that's where
far,
we're
I know
at.
how far it is, but we're okay with the other schools going to private property off campus and smoking. I just
So-
want to make sure we're clear with that and they understand.
They have other locations that are close that they can smoke.
Okay. I just don't want them to come back and say, well, if you designated a space on that campus, then you should designate one for us as
And
well.
I mean, I know we talked about this at length.
Right,
They may come and do that, and then the reality is then I would come back to the board and say I would just want to remove the whole thing then,
okay.
which is sad.
Good enough.
The whole thing, I wish we didn't have to.
Right.
grab them.
Understood.
Okay, right.
Thank you.
we are now going to look at policy 814, which is what here? 814, and we're repealing the original, which was copyright policy. We are adding a new policy, which says the purpose is East Stroudsburg Area School District respects U.S. copyright law to protect creators' work and promote learning. Definitions: copyright is legal protection for original works like books, music, videos, software. Fair use is defined as limited use of copyrighted work for education without permission if legal conditions are met. Authority: the district prohibits illegal copying or sharing of copyrighted material. Users are responsible for following the copyright laws, and the responsibilities will be for the superintendent or the designated will be provide a copyright guidelines handbook, train staff and students on copyright rules, enforce this policy and laws. The guidelines are: users must get permission, use district licensed material, or follow fair use rules before copying or sharing copyrighted work. Staff must teach students to respect copyright, do not download or share music, movies, or software illegally, do not bypass copyright protections, and violations may lead to discipline or legal action. Per policy 218, 317, and 815, users assume all risk, and there are some references. All right, that's it. All right. Any questions? Welcome, George.
Thank you. I'm just gonna wait, because I probably wanna pump them all together.
Okay. Jason, Keith is saying that he's not muted. He can hear everything.
I could move the screen over when he comes out, but we'll keep driving.
I am not muted. Can you hear me?
He's unmuted on our end. I can see the light shine, but there's nothing coming out.
He's probably in a white space that's really a yellow space.
I'll drag my screen over.
Okay, perfect.
All right, the next one.
No, I can
Policy
hear.
5.1 website, which we are repealing the former 815.1, and we are implementing proposed implementation of a new one, revised. Purpose: East Stroudsburg Area School District's website and school web pages share information about curriculum, programs, activities. They provide a parent portal and educational resources. This policy ensures safe, legal, and appropriate website use. Definitions are website, district, and school web pages at www.esasd.net. Users are students, staff, approved guests, such as volunteers or vendors. Objectionable material, content that is inappropriate per district policy. The authority is the district controls the website content, may monitor, edit, or remove material. Users have no expectation of privacy. The district cooperates with authorities for illegal activities, and the responsibility of the superintendent or designee will be create rules to enforce the policy, notify users about the policies via handbooks or the website, train staff and students on website use, ensure accessibility per WCAG 2.0 level AA. Guidelines are: content must relate to district curriculum, programs, or activities, must be accurate, free of spelling errors, must not include objectionable material or link to it, must follow copyright laws. Privacy: no student photos, names, personal information without parent consent. Student work may be posted if related to class projects and approved. Links must connect to educational or district approved sites. No links to commercial, political, or objectionable sites. Consequences: violations may lead to a loss of access, discipline, or legal action. All right, so much for policy 815.1. We now move to 816, social media policy, which We are repealing the old 816. A little bit of rinse and repeat here. The new policy will be purpose. The East Stroudsburg Area School District uses social media to share school information, support learning, and connect with the community. Definitions: social media, online platforms for sharing and communication. Users are students, staff, and approved guests. Authority: the district may monitor social media use on school systems or personal devices connected to school networks. Users have no expectation of privacy. The district cooperates with authorities for illegal activity. The delegation of responsibility will be the superintendent or designee, and they will create rules for social media use, train users on safe and appropriate use, notify users about the policy via handbooks or the website. The guidelines are use social media for school-related purposes only. Do not share private information. Do not post inappropriate content. Do not use district's name or logo without permission. Violations may lead to discipline or legal action per policies 815, 218, and 317. And the next one will be policy 816.1, cloud computing. And we are repealing the old cloud computing policy. Yet again, the purpose is the Stroudsburg Area School District uses approved cloud services to store and share school data safely for education and work. Definitions: cloud computing, online service for storing and managing data. Users are students, staff, and approved guests. Authority: only cloud services approved by the Director of Technology may be used. The district may monitor, use, and access data. Users must protect school data. Delegation of authority: superintendent or designee will create rules for cloud use, train users on safe practices, notify users about this policy via handbook or the website. Guidelines are: use only approved cloud services for school purposes, do not store private data, follow the copyright laws and avoid inappropriate content, use strong passwords and do not share them, report issues or violations to the Director of Technology, and violations may lead to discipline or legal action. And the next one is policy 830, information protection. And we are repealing the previous information protection. Once again, the purpose is East Stroudsburg Area School District protect private confidential information to support its educational mission and ensure safety. Definitions are: confidential information, which is data that could harm the district, staff, or students if shared. Users are students, staff, and approved guests. Authority: the district may monitor and access information on its system. Users have no expectation of privacy. The district cooperates with authorities for illegal activity. Delegation of responsibility is the superintendent or designee will create rules to protect data, train users on data safety, notify users about this policy via handbooks or the website. The guidelines are: protect private data, use only approved systems and services, do not share confidential information without permission, report issues or violations to the Director of Technology, and violations may lead to discipline or legal action. And moving along, we are to policy 830.1, privacy and security of student data, where we are repealing the previous policy of 830.1, and we are implementing or propose to implement the revision of purpose. The Stroudsburg Area School District protects student electronic and digital information to ensure privacy and safety. Definitions are: student data information about students, users, students, staff, and approved guests, the authority. The district may monitor and access student data on its system. Users have no expectation of privacy. The district cooperates with authorities for illegal activity. The delegation of responsibility, the superintendent or designee will create rules to protect student data, train users on data safety, notify users about this policy via handbook or the website. The guidelines are collect and store only necessary student data, protect private data, follow copyright laws, report issues or violations to the Director of Technology. Violations may lead to discipline or legal action per policies. Number next is policy 830.2 data breach notification. Where once again, we are repealing the previous policy 830.2. And the new one will have the purpose of East Stroudsburg Area School District notifies affected individuals promptly when a data breach occurs to protect privacy and comply with the law. A data breach is unauthorized access of private information. Users are students, staff, and approved guests. The authorities, the district will investigate and report data breaches as required. Users must report breaches immediately. The district may monitor systems with no exceptions of privacy. Delegation of responsibility will be the superintendent or designee will create rules for handling breaches, train users on reporting breaches, notify users. Is that Keith?
No,
No.
it's George.
My hearing aid.
Sorry, George. Notify users about this policy via handbooks or the website. The guidelines are report suspected breaches to the Director of Technology, where a phone number is included with an extension. Do not share private data without permission. The district will notify affected individuals within 45 days of a confirmed breach. Follow copyright and acceptable use rules. Violations may lead to discipline or legal action. All right. Now we are,
Sorry, I'm late, guys.
okay,
Thank you for coming.
Bradley.
Can you hear me now?
Keith was trying to speak to me. I thought you were channeling Keith.
No, I'm getting new hearing aids because you see, reverbing.
It
Well-
has to be bothersome for you.
Very much, that's why I'm getting new hearing.
Yeah.
aids. Actually, one went dead already completely,
Well,
so I only have one on. And
okay,
but
well, we should. move-
I've
we should
gotta
move
wait a
you
bit.
to
It's gonna
sit
take
on
about
the
2
side
weeks to
to
get.
Hear everyone.
Correct.
Hear me now?
Well, I have to turn them up
To
on
hear.
board meetings to hear, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But-
Well, we'll just know that it's not you coming in for a land.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments on any
Yeah.
of those things?
Yes, I had one real.
I'll go after you.
We had detailed policies on each of these, like 8 pages, and now these, all the new ones are one. I was just curious why we had the big change to go that way.
Yeah, so Brian and Eric worked really, really hard on this. I would say that the amount of detail in the policy wasn't necessary and became more verbose by the person that was supporting the policy writing, which was not PSBA at the time, correct? So our policies were longer than they needed to be, so we were able to trim it down.
I'm just curious, because it said we had greatly 8 pages to 1 page, yeah.
Well,
A couple of concerns that I have is, I remember reading it and I forgot to write the things down. There's several legal references in the original policies that we have that are no longer mentioned in the new policies. Do we physically have finished at this time the rules and guideline books that it says will be available? And specifically in the old policies, we designated those individuals for that particular task within that policy. Now it just says superintendent or designate. And I don't mean this, I'm not saying this to this superintendent, I'm saying for future superintendents that may come into place. They may designate somebody who is not in a position to do that role, like child accounting, for example, for IT. You know, if they designate somebody who isn't competent in that role, we're not stating in our policy who is competent, which we did previously. We said this is the person who should be in charge, the person in charge of child accounting. This is the person who should be charged, the director of technology. I just don't want in the future that designee becomes somebody who is not competent in that role. And for as, you know, like I said, with the, we will provide, in most of them, it says, because it's pretty much the same, create rules, to protect the students. You know, do we have these in place? Will these come after this is agreed upon? Create, protection data. You know, so there's all these things that there's the one very specific. Create the rules for cloud use. Do we already have that created? Is that something that we already have? And will it be assigned with this? And or will it have to be added as an AR later on?
So as I'm looking at the repealed, this perspective repealed 814, it has that there is a copyright manual. So I'm assuming that already exists. Because in the policy, it
But
has
it
a
says
copyright.
create,
No, but in the policy that currently is in
right?
the repealed one, on page 3, it refers to the copyright guidelines handbook. And then on page 4, it said future reference, the East Stroudsburg Area School District Copyright Guidelines Handbook. So because that was put into place in 2014, I'm assuming it exists.
So when we say provide a copyright guideline handbook, we're saying provide the already existing guideline copyright handbook.
Would it be
My
provide?
first question is does it exist?
It does. It's in, it, at one point in time, I can't remember the exact year, it was issued to every single one of our school libraries.
So would we say provide or adopt the copyright handbook? Oh, and
Well,
in
because
each one,
we have
the same
7 of
thing.
these, almost like 6 or 7 of these policies go
Yeah.
at once. And it's structured, they're all structured exactly the same.
Right.
And so, like I said, when we're saying designate, we have people who are designated. And then again, we're referencing, we left out certain references to the American Disabilities Act for the website. We left that law out in our references to our policy, unless we're referring back to another policy that refers to a policy that refers to ADA. We left out COPA in one of the other policies in the technology portion. So I just want to make sure that we're still following with the same parameters within the referenced law that we created the original policies on within the new scope of policies. I liked them trimmed down. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
And providing those handbooks and so on, that makes complete sense too. You don't need the handbook in the policy. It could be something that we get to. I just want to make sure that we have everything in there.
So your reference to the American Disabilities Act,
That was for the website.
yeah, 815.1. So it now references WCAG 2.0.
That's the
Yeah.
update.
Yeah,
So it no longer references Act 42. USC. Section 12131.
The page notes.
So what is WCAG 2.0?
So what it's referencing now is a different section of US Code 29, US Code 794D, which is for access to technological information for individuals with disabilities.
Okay, so like I had asked, we changed because these are all the exact same ones that were in the original. I was just looking at the ones that were missing. So we referenced it twice, is what you were saying previously?
that web content accessibility guidelines had come out after this. This was I think the last revision was 11 years ago to this
Okay.
policy.
So basically, we left in the old ones with the new ones.
Yeah,
All right, that makes sense. And then with the privacy and security. USC 16, for COPA. Was that incorporated under a different one that we didn't need anymore, that we
Which
revised?
policy?
Privacy and security, so 830.1,
Yeah,
and you are saying COPA,
for the children's online.
like the cabana?
Yeah.
Sorry, it had to be done. It had to be said.
I know. Second, so.
Basically, we're saying that the new policies are covering everything that we repealed in the old policies. Am I correct? We made sure we covered everything
Well,
the way they are.
well, for example, for this one as well, for HIPAA, we don't reference USC, for HIPAA privacy rights. Unless it's covered under a different section, like you said, in a different policy that may refer to it.
216 that's our records policy.
But for 830.1.1, we don't reference 216. The district policy to reference are 814, 815, 815.1, 816.
Yeah, I was just saying in our records policy is where we would address the HIPAA
And what
compliance.
policy is that?
216s?
Right, but that's not referenced as a legal reference for this policy. We don't reference 216 in this to protect this
So in the
policy.
old one, we referenced COPA. In the
We
new one,
specifically-
we're not referencing that or 216 is what he said.
Right, what we had
So what
learned.
you're saying is that anytime we don't reference something in a policy, it's automatically covered because we have it in another policy?
In many, yeah, so
Okay.
what we had found in looking at that was there were some policies that repeated the same information that was already recited. So we had to make a determination, where's the proper bucket for this? Where does it belong? So where I went to go look, and I'll turn this over to Brian, when you mentioned COPA right away, I'm jumping to 815, correct? Which would be the acceptable use of the internet, not information privacy
That is-
protection.
that
Because
is-
on the COPA side, it's about what we allow access to.
Okay, then why previously under, I mean, it's only a 2-year-old policy. Why previously did we reference COPA for privacy and security for student?
I can't speak to the authorship on that one. Was that part of a previously
I mean-
amended policy?
It was,
You
so
know, stuff. It had.
And why did we reference HIPAA at that time as well? But now we're saying that neither one of those two are necessary.
again, we're trying to like he mentioned, making sure the right policy's in the right bucket. And I think what happened with these 800 series policies over time, they got so intertwined and intermingled, and there was a lot of verbose and a lot of jargon and high level technical terms that really wouldn't pertain to the average person.
So,
So
so,
we basically wanted to streamline them down to exactly what the policy is per se.
Okay.
And reference, make sure that all these 800 ones we're talking about should always reference at nothing else but the least 815.
Okay.
So in the past, anytime we did any policy work on any of these, everything was so intertwined. Had to adjust one because it referenced like 830.2. If you fix something there, you had to fix 830.1, 830. It just, so we're trying to take that verboseness and some of that stuff out of there, the repetition, and so it's a standalone policy that if we need to adjust or pivot based on something, we can adjust the policy per se.
I don't,
Without having to go into five other policies.
understood. What I don't physically have in front of me though is policy 815, and what specifically do you?
That's the acceptable use of the internet.
So acceptable use of the internet policy will cover if a student's health records were hacked?
That should be in there. Yeah, I'm pulling that up. So.
And all my questions were data breach, so you're into data.
Right,
breach,
so if
but-
we have a data breach, I just want to make sure that that 815 covers all HIPAA and FERPA.
And while you're looking that up, Deb, correct me if I'm wrong, but once we approve policies, it goes to PSBA.
SBA will also add the
And-
legal
And
references.
PSBA
Reference.
adds additional legal references if they feel that.
Right, they ask us not to do that,
That just helps
let them
clarify the
handle
question.
that portion.
So I don't want you to
They
think
go-
that
That's not.
if we
No.
miss something,
It's a-
PSBA, before the policies go live, PSBA adds it.
And it's not a matter of missing. They've explained clearly what the reasoning was behind it. I just want to make sure that we didn't remove it unnecessarily. And that it was, and as Eric and Brian have pointed out, that they are referenced in others.
Yeah.
I just
So-
want to make sure that, especially in data breaches.
So for example, and that helped when you explained what you were looking for and why.
Right.
So I'm gonna back up. 815 would not be where I would go to look for what happens if a student's health information is breached. 815 is about how all of us
Right.
employed utilize it. I was
Acceptably.
linking that to the question about COPA, because that has to do with the Child Internet Protection Act. We also have the list of online allowable resources that are part of our cloud computing as well. So if you look in the policy for data breach, let me go back and get the exact number here because I don't want to.
Which was the last one.
Yeah, 831, privacy and security of student data. In the very outset of that policy, it talks about that private information and it references there section 73, Pennsylvania, subsection 2302. Do you see that on the top?
Are we talking about the new policy or the old policy?
New policy.
When is it?
7302.
Let me go back and get
Got that,
the
all
right
right.
one.
Your policy,
It's-
what number is?
Policy 830.2, data breach
Yeah,
notification.
830.2, okay, yeah.
830, sorry.
Yeah.
I have like
Like
8
830.
policies now open in one tab, so bear with me.
Hold on a minute. Yes,
So to answer that, your specific question, and that was very helpful,
my 830 doesn't have,
830.2,
yeah, so,
That's.
I thought I got 830 dot.
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
So
the
we're
one
talking
we had
about
on the
data
table here tonight. We have the authority section
okay.
where it says the district will investigate and report data breaches as required. In that parenthetical reference there to 73
Okay.
PS 2301, the entire sequence, it covers it.
It covers it in
Yeah.
here.
Exactly. So when you go to that section of the code, it explains what all is covered and even gives a list of the specific definitions. It defines medical information.
So then when we reference this district policy in 830, it references all the subsets, which would be 830.2. Okay,
So basically.
Personal information is covered also, which isn't always the same. Financial information is covered.
because it's different as well.
So basically, we take this policy and this set, or these policies, and they send us to another policy if it's more relevant, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Right.
and most
That-
importantly, the
that's how you
law
keep
that
it.
is behind it, that is what we
That's
really
what
have to
we
follow
want
when it
to have.
happens. And we also have the response plan.
Yeah.
When we get, and that's an AR that follows a industry standard framework that Brian could speak to that does have to be agile and is reviewed annually. We sit as a committee and review what the response plan is, and there are tests involved with that. So that goes into the detail of how we do it here, because that could change as technologies change. Again, trying to get the policy back to saying we must do it.
Okay, yeah, and like I said, you answered everything. My biggest concern was just making sure that we have everything in place in case somebody were to come to you and say, hey, can I see a copy of X, Y, and Z?
And we shared that concern for the several months we've delved through these policies, trying to weed them down from, in some cases, 40 pages.
Yeah.
With very specific examples that also omitted other real world examples today that look like deliberate omission, which was a
Right,
concern. So that was
Yeah.
where
and
we had
might
to
not
reel
even
it
be
way
relevant.
back. Yeah, Skype is gone, and Skype is no longer listed in our policy, by the way.
Right.
Just as an example of some of the things we had to
MySpace.
get through. MySpace, yeah, all of that.
Hey, what's I have?
You had,
No, thank you, both of you.
you asked the question the long way for the ask Mike.
Are we good?
Easy one.
Yep, yep.
We're good? Okay, public participation. I
talk now?
No rush at once. Okay. Hearing the public participation at 0. I'll go to the recommendations for administration to post the policies for public review during the month of August. A motion.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
any questions? All in favor?
aye.
Okay. And now we will go to the last motion of motions.
What?
A last motion of motions. Just say I make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to
Second.
adjourn.
And we're all in favor. Thank you.
Aye. Yep.
Aye, thank you all.
That's at 5:09. Sorry, we had.
That
great
was my
discussion.
fault.
It was scheduled till 10 after, so you made that.
Yes.
extra minute.
I was being.
Okay,
I
goodbye.
was being
Goodbye,
there.
Keith. We're done.
I know.
Bye, he's waiting.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Bye. I can hear you, but you can't hear me.
I actually thought I wasn't gonna get here in time to get to any of it.
Well, you made it. We're happy. Okay. He's on his way to Erie.
He's in Erie.
Yeah.
He should.
I think he's on his way back from Erie to West Virginia.
Oh, okay. Maybe I read it too a bit.
I might be wrong.
You've already.
I might be wrong.
You told me, look. And then later on.
Hello. Can you hear me? I'll go in the hallway. Let me go in the hallway.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Good, how's it going? What's new? How's your summer?
Good, how are you?
Oh, no complaints. It was. How about now? How about now? No? I'm unmuted.
I hear tapping.
Okay. Good last year.
Yeah,
Because we had that.
well, we have a lot to rally the troops about, that's for sure.
We had that.
Yeah.
Oh, big sun, sun's out.
I think Sharon was, he was at South.